Hey guys, this is Jesse over at S&J Customs again, coming at you with more of the chef knife. I did a little shaping on the handles on the front of them, and then I roughed up the insides on that. I'm gonna do two glue ups. I'm gonna do the little neck knife here too with the micarta. This is that micarta from Pop's Knife Supply. But what you want to do is kind of get them handles in. Normally, you would finish this part right here first. But what I did was I got the shape and I hit it down to 220. But I like to grind it in a little deeper right here after the scales are on, so that I have me something to put my fingers on to grab a hold of like that. So y'all come on and ride with me on this. We're gonna do a glue up on the chef knife and the little neck knife. And guys, y'all do me a favor. Hit me a like and subscribe out there, okay? And if y'all got a comment, leave a comment. Even if it's not a comment that you think I'd want to hear, I don't care about that, man. We'll go from there when we get it. But if you got something constructive to say, I'm always going to listen. And if it's going to help out the shop or make me a better knife maker, I'm darn sure going to do it. And you can bet that. So, enough talking. Let me go and take y'all down to the table where we're using that G-Flex. And I use G-Flex, but I'm going to tell you straight up, I started out with JB Clear 5-minute epoxy. And the more I learned, the more I started using the G-Flex, and the more I like the G-Flex, because the G-Flex is just a bomb diggity. It holds, it don't let go, and that's just it, period. I ain't never had no trouble with the JB Clear ever. But this right here is just a better epoxy, because it's got, like I was telling y'all in the previous video, it has an ungodly tensile strength. You can't hardly break this stuff. And it's made really to keep the water out, because you don't use epoxy so much to glue the handle scales on as you do to keep the water away from the tang of the knife, where it'll rust and tear up the knife. You know, because rust is the enemy of steel. And that's all steel. Stainless don't rust quite so easy, but it still will rust. So here we go. Let me take you on down to the table. And you want to make sure you mix this stuff up real good. And it's a 50-50 mix. That's what it is. And you know, you get your acetone, keep it ready. And if I was y'all, I'd wear gloves, because this stuff, it ain't nothing pleasant to get on your skin, really. And like I said, the glue up on a knife, that's the single most stressful part of any knife build. And one thing I want to mention while I'm at it, you know, I'm always trying to say, you know, be kind to one another and such as that. You know, find somebody to be nice to and make their day. Well, that also goes for old people. Old people, sometimes people overlook them. But you know what? Old folks, they got work. They have knowledge. They work good. And you got to trust them to let you know if they can't handle the work. But you got to work them, because that's just the asset to any team, that knowledge and that skill. And see, look at here, you know, I've cleaned up the pins, but I rough them up so that they got a good hold, because in actuality, your pins are what holds the knife together itself. And that's what I'm talking about, that stressful part. There we go. See how easy that was? Sometimes this stuff just does not want to cooperate. It don't matter what you do to it. You can talk sweet to it. You can smack it with a hammer, and it still don't want to cooperate. Sometimes you got to make it. Yeah. And you always want to put plenty of epoxy, but man, when you put enough on the scales, a lot of folks they'll be putting it on the knife too. Then all you gotta do is you got a bigger mess, and the epoxy is gonna squeeze out anyway when you put the pins on it, y'all. So you don't have to put 10 gallons of epoxy on everything you touch. But one thing you do have to make is that your scales are roughed up and that they're all cleaned up. You see what I mean? And I try to leave a little bit on both sides, because what I'll do is take the bandsaw and cut them off, and then I'll take my little old ball peen hammer, put it on my thing, and I'll peen it over. And that's mechanical lock is what you're looking for. That's what you want to have. You want to have the epoxy lock, because the epoxy, it holds, you know, because the knife handle, as y'all seen, was roughed up from the sanding. And the scales was roughed up from the sanding. But what you want to do is have that. Now, you see all of this right here? You want to take the epoxy and clean that all out of there. Because when it dries, oh my goodness, it's just a big old pain. That's what it is. But that's what it's designed to be. It's designed to stick and stay hard. And that's what it's going to do. You can bet and believe that. Just take your acetone and go like this. But this is the one part that you definitely want to get cleaned up. This part right here. Because when you got a finish on the knife, like I was going to stone wash it, but I didn't. Because I just like the way that the acid etch and the coffee etch came out. It made a real pretty color on that knife blade. You want to clean all that so that you don't have to sand it off and redo your finish, because that's when it gets to be a real problem, you know. So what you want to do is clean all that off like that, and make sure this part is nice and clean. Make sure there ain't nothing on your metal, you know. And if you have to, don't be shy about using paper towels. They done gone up a lot, but they still cheap enough that it's easier to use the paper towels to clean up than it is to go on and mess up your blade. Don't be shy about the epoxy, because you done got it clamped off, so it's not gonna get none of that acetone down in there to break your hold. But you see how nice and clean that is right there? That epoxy cleans everything off. Then everything's gonna be all right after that. See there? No runs, no drips, no errors, y'all. Alright guys, I'm gonna glue up the other one off camera and quit talking at y'all. So y'all go on and have a good night. And remember, man, pick somebody and be kind to them. It'll make your day too.